Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Casters.
And today is Saturday, June 25th, 2016. This is episode 260. So we're back after 2 weeks. Did you guys miss us? We kind of missed recording for you last week, but we have so much content to talk about this week. So exciting. So strap yourself in. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're new, grab some knitting, grab a beverage of choice, get comfortable, because we got a lot to show you and to talk about today. So we're glad that you're joining us this week. And so we're trying this new format over the summer of recording every 2 weeks. And that's already going to be going to the wayside here in the next episode, but that's fine. We've got to go with the flow. But yeah, it felt weird last Sunday, but I think it's going to be for the best. So let's do some weeks in review. So I'm still on summer vacation, so not a whole lot going on in my life. But I did go with my leading man back to his hometown in northern Indiana. And we went last Friday night, came back home Saturday night. Quick 24-hour turnaround. We went for a belated niece's birthday, give her a birthday gift and say hi and spend some time with them, and did a family dinner. Ended up taking his dad out for lunch for Father's Day and early Father's Day. So, kind of hitting all the family fronts on that end. So it was a good there and back trip. And other than that, it's been a lot of dyeing of yarn and fiber. For those of you who are new, I am one of the owners of Leading Men Fiber Arts. So, dyeing's pretty much been my full-time job. But I have been trying to get out of the house and go to knit night and knit day, once or twice a week at my local yarn store, which is Les Moutons Rouge Knittery. And as Andy likes to say, blow the stank off, because there's days I get showered and get right back into PJs and start dyeing again. So it's my summer, but I like it. So that's pretty much it that I can recall on my front. Not a whole lot going on.
So my last couple of weeks have been super busy with work. We are getting ready for the fair and everything that comes with it. This coming Friday, that's our fair entry deadline. So that's when they need to have them in. Otherwise, I get the pleasure of emailing or calling them and saying you can't show at the fair. So that's fun. That's always fun phone calls. And if you can't tell I'm being facetious, then welcome to the show. That's been going on. I work for 4-H in case if you're new. So that's what I mean by our fair. Other than that, this weekend is going to be pretty busy. So we hung out, and then tomorrow I'm having brunch with some friends. And then I am doing someone bailed last minute, and I had some other obligations to attend to, but I will be representing my leadership class and organization at a community event tomorrow. That's going to be held at one of our local baseball fields. So looking forward to that. And then after that, I'm going to Kite Fest, which is sponsored by one of our former leadership classes alumni. I'm really excited about that because they're going to have a graffiti wall to open the event, and then they're going to do kite flying all day, and there's going to be music, and there's going to be a whole bunch of different stuff. I bought a ticket for myself and a ticket for my cousin, so we're going, and I'm really excited. So I kind of jammed a lot of stuff into the weekend, and I am not upset about that. It actually is really nice to be able to do things, so especially with it being so close to fair. So that's pretty much all.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, I do have two dogs, Ernest and Cornelius, who we affectionately call Corn Dog. They are down here playing, and I heard some slight growling. If you hear some dog noise, sorry. Leading Man decided to, since we record downstairs now, this is the Leading Men Fiber Arts studio, he cannot die in the kitchen while we're recording because he would be kind of loud. So he's like, I'm going upstairs to take a nap. So he's not down here to wrangle the dogs this week. So they get to be a little loud. I'm sorry, just fair warning with the earbuds and whatnot. So All right. So let's get to the knitting. What's taking a bow? Everything is taking a bow for me.
I have nothing, just front up.
So it was a little crazy last week. Like, it seems when I get to the point where I have so many works in progress on the needles that I just can't stand it anymore, they all come off the needles at the same time. I don't know how it always works out that way, but I have 4 finished objects this week, which is kind of crazy. So I'm going to get right to that. I'm trying to finish this row, and I knew I shouldn't have started it, but it is what it is. So the first thing for me is Ayano by Mercedes Tarasovich. And I originally did this as a knit-along for the Super Summer Knit Together, which is a retreat hosted in Nashville, Tennessee by the Knit Girls, who is another wonderful video podcast if you're not watching them. Callie and I are both attending this summer, next month in July, and I failed to meet the knit-along deadline, but that's okay. I still finished it, and I'm actually going to be donating it as one of the charity door prizes that they do at the event, along with the 2 other projects that I knitted for the knit-along. So, I used 2 yarns. I used 2 Guys Yarn Company, the Bachelor Collection Fingering in the Dutch Island colorway, and another Crafty Girl Ooh Shiny Sock in the Rock Eater colorway on size 5 US, which is 3.75 millimeters. So here it is. It did block out to a nice size. It's still not extremely long, but it will fit a smaller framed person, I think, really nicely. It looked really nice on my dress form that I have that I took pictures on, that Callie is very grateful that I don't have to make her model everything that I finish. So, as you can see here, it's got the 2 color stripe section, and then a lace section, and then this is an applied edging knit from side to side. So, I really like this. Both of these are merino silk blends, and if you can see here, there's kind of an increase line here, 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 and here. So there's 4 different increase lines, which allows it to sit on the shoulders really nicely, if that's how you prefer to wear your shawls, or even over one shoulder, which is kind of how I modeled it on the dress form. I would not say that this is the kerchief style. I don't think that it would work for that, because you're going to get not a whole lot of length and kind of bibbish going down here. So, but that's done. I'm happy. I can now mail off all of this next week. I've been waiting to show you guys. Second for me is Quaker Lines by Susan Ashcroft, and I did this as a knit along with my local yarn store, and there was no official end date, and so I was one of the last ones. Oh no, there was somebody knitting it today. So
I didn't start it.
Well, if you didn't start it, I wouldn't say that.
Yes,
you're in it, right?
I'm coming back.
So I used Classic Elite Yarns Liberty Wool Light in color number 6699, which is known as Cloudy Dawn, and I used the size 6 US 4 millimeters. So I'm really happy with this one as well. So you can see it actually starts out on this end, and you can see this center double decrease along the sides. It's great for those long repeat yarns like Noro or Liberty Wool or Handspun. And then you eventually get to a point where you stop increasing on the bottom, and it starts pulling it back up and in while still increasing on the top. So this one I thought was, kind of that boomerang shape that I like a lot, and that can sit nicely. So, I don't know. I liked this one. It was a fun knit. I can see myself potentially knitting it again, not right away, but not sure when. So, there's that. And I was waiting to show this to you guys because this is going to Callie.
Really?
Because she likes the colors so much when I pick them out. And so I'm not keeping it for myself. I hardly ever keep anything I knit. So I wanted to show it off to you guys. I already have FO pics.
Thank you.
And there you go. So
Now I need to work on mine because you liked those colors.
It's fine. It's not a huge deal.
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. I told Callie we had lunch together and then went to open knitting and are now here. And I said, I'm not used to talking this much. I talked to the dogs a little bit during the day, but not much. So my voice is going really quickly.
I was telling Steve earlier today that we have, at my office, we have been out of air for now 3 weeks. And so, like, I've just been continuously drinking water, and that I still feel like, even in the air, like when we were in the shop or when we were at the restaurant or, like, even in the truck, and then now here, it's just like I can't get enough. Because it's been in the range of 82 to 96 was the highest. I said 92 when we were walking into Michael's today, but I realized that last Thursday it was hotter. So I just feel like I can't get enough.
My third finished object is, you're fine, the Brownies Sock Recipe by Gina Canuse. And I used Lunabud Knits Buddy Base in the Deep Waters colorway and Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper Intermission in the Perfection colorway on size 1 US 2.25 millimeters. And I have not only one, but two. So this has a contrasting cuff, heel, and toe, which I sure do love the look of. I hate weaving in all the ends. Will I ever go back to not having alternating cuff, heel, and toes now that Leading Men Fiber Arts stocks half skeins of sock yarn? Probably not. I'll probably just complain about weaving in the ends from now on. But it's the new rage, right? Everybody's doing it, but I do really like the look of it. If you're going to knit a hand knit sock, I really think it showcases that. So this is the second one. I can tell because it's longer. I added 10 more rows to the second one, because the first one was a little snug, but I wasn't going to rip it back because ain't nobody got time for that. So I haven't really worn these. I blocked them and then was like, okay, they look pretty. So showing them to you, they'll probably go in the drawer till this fall. As I've stated previously on the show, I really don't wear my hand knit socks in shoes. I have sensitive feet, so I'm one of those people. And yes, I know you can knit it inside out and have the knit side in your sock. I just prefer them as house slippers. That's really the only way that I wear socks. So I applaud all the people who even wear hand knit socks, whether they're cotton or not, in the summertime. I really don't wear shoes in the summer. Callie can attest to that. Unless I'm vending and I'm going to be on my feet all day. I learned, like, in one of my first vending experiences, to just wear shoes rather than being comfortable. But other than that, I wear flip-flops all the time, in the house, everywhere. So that's FO number 3. Are you counting? FO number 4. I know. Don't worry, it's the last FO. I finished my Technicolor scarf by Meg Keeley. This was started, I took a brioche class at my local yarn store, again, Les Moutons Rouge Knittery, and I learned the brioche stitch. And so I was knitting this scarf on either to or from Indiana last weekend, and I was like, you know what, if I end it now, I might have enough yarn to do a hat, because I'm kind of over the brioche-ness. I wanted to learn the stitch, didn't really care to have the finished object, though it's going to be a shop sample. So I was like, well, maybe I could do like a rib in one color and then a body, and then I was looking around and I found Stephen West's botanical hat that I actually have a pattern for. You needed 80 yards of the main color. I had 76 left. So I was like, scrap that, not knitting a hat. I wasn't going to fudge it. I was just like, nope, I'll move on to something else. I've got enough stash. And I put the scraps in my granny square blanket, the heavier weight one, which you won't see today, but you'll see the other one today. So anyway, this is knit out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Box Office, which is our worsted weight, in long stocking, which is the multicolored, and glow stick, which is that bright neon yellowy green. So it's said to go to about 6 inches, and I think I'm almost there. I might be just a little short, but I didn't want it much wider. I don't like a huge wide scarf. Granted, again, I'm not wearing this. But I did model it on my mannequin, and I thought what was really cool is I twisted it in the back, but then you had one side that had the green, and then you also had the other side that shows the other side. So really what brioche is, if you're not familiar, it's kind of all the rage in all the knitting right now, hence why I wanted to learn it. It's pretty much a double thick ribbed fabric, so that's why one color pops on one side and one pops on the other. So glad I learned it. Will I use it a lot? Probably not. It's not my aesthetic, but I like to learn new things. I think it's important to continually learn. So, I mean, you can tell that's only a couple layers, and you can see how thick. They're so squishy, though. It is very squishy. So, this will be in our booth at some point, whether it's this show season or sometime next year. I'm not sure. But that's all that I finished, folks. Just those few things. Wrap those up real quick. On and off the needles. No, they've been on the needles for a while. I'm glad to get them off. So.
Yes, they're all very pretty. And of course, I love my present, so.
That's what's important. I'm glad it's going to be used and go to a good home.
Yes, most definitely.
And you stated that you didn't have anything.
I don't.
So let's move into what's performing this week. Weeks. So what's on our needles? I'm going to let Callie go first. We're both slimming down our works in progress, so.
Yes, I am still working on my blueberry waffle socks, but I'm calling them my caramel swirl brownie socks. So, here's the cuff. Here's where I put in for the afterthought heel, and here is the foot. So I really love it. I think it's coming out really, really nice. And I've had really nice compliments on it, both at the shop and where I've taken it and knitted it out in public. So I really like this, and we'll see who they go to. Someone might have mentioned that they may or may not like them, and may or may not want them. I
think they're very masculine colors, and one of the colors says Stephen loves Tosh. Granted, it's spelled incorrectly in my mind, but Stefan.
So,
Stepan. No. Should have a V. Stephen should have a V. Anyway.
So, they may or may not go to someone that is sitting next to me.
Or her mom.
I don't think my mom will wear them. She's very much a flip-flop person around the house.
I just said I am too.
So.
But I do try to wear them around the house in the wintertime.
I don't know. I mean, so I just want to say real quick that if my dad passes, my mom is buying my other relatives' shares in the family cabin and moving down there. So it's going to be at the Lake of the Ozarks. So not that it doesn't get cold there and not that it doesn't snow there, but the chances of it being freezing are a little less likely. So planning for the future tends to be like, Mom doesn't need knitted socks.
You never know.
True.
People's appendages do get colder with age. I hear this. All right. Referencing my notes, I print them off now that we record down here. So I keep them all on my computer upstairs, and then I just print them off right here, and there we go. So, what's performing for me? I cast on for our Leading Men Fiber Arts Knit Along. Are you joining us? I think there's about a handful of us. There's not very many, but those of us who are knitting along with the Leading Men Fiber Arts group on Ravelry for the Newbie Vest by Stephanie Lotvin, we are having a fantabulous time. People are loving the pattern, and we're getting some awesome baby vests ready to go. So I'm knitting mine as a shop sample, which will eventually be given to somebody who has a small person in their lives. It was a little fiddly to begin with because you have to knit all the little straps for the vest individually and then connect them. But once you do that, you're good. And once you weave in all your ends, because there are quite a few ends to weave in, you're good to go. And so I'm there. I'm at that point. I actually put on a needle protector from the Stockinette Zombies, which I got at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse a couple weeks ago. And so I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Callback, which is our sport weight base, in the And with an E colorway. And I'm knitting the 18-month size, so I'm knitting the largest version. And I'm enjoying it. So I'm doing the lace version. There's two options. There's a lace or a cabled version. And I'm using a size 4 US 3.5 millimeters. So you can see the straps that have buttonholes. And then you've got stockinette with lace in the center panel. I can see you. And it's the same on the front and back. That's one of the selling points of the pattern is, babies got big heads. So this can be buttoned on the shoulders, and then also it's buttoned on the side. There's garter, which is stretchy on the sides, but there's a garter panel which will have buttons on the side. So there's no right or wrong side in terms of front and back. They're both exactly the same. So that's going. I'm about to put my second buttonhole in on the side soon, and kind of looks like a little brassiere, right? Now I can't not see that.
Show title. Looks like a little brassiere.
Doesn't it? Like a little bustier? Anyway,
you went there.
I'm enjoying it. I'll talk more about our knit along later. And, yeah, so.
There's a little red bustier.
Little red bustier. I have to figure out how to spell bustier. Second thing for me is a new cast on that I cast on Tuesday at my knit night. I got it. Oh, it's right here. I cast on the Stardust by Amy Vandelar. I'm using Dreaming Color Jilly with cashmere. It's a single ply in the Hello Dolly colorway, which is number 902, which looks like that.
Did you buy it because of the name or because of the colorway?
Mostly for the name. Got that theater connection.
I know, because I was going to say that seems very outside your comfort zone of colors.
And that was part of it, too, is, I'm just like, I think I was thinking boomerang. This is slightly boomerang shape. Let me see if I have the, here is a picture of the pattern. So it's an open mesh boomerang type shawl. And, so I'm just doing a lot of, what do they call this stitch? The star rib mesh, which doesn't go nearly as fast as a garter stitch boomerang, but something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's where I'm at. Ooh. And I'm knitting this on a size 3 US, which seems rather small, but we'll see how big it gets. I'm not too worried about it. And that is a 3.25 millimeter needle, so what's that? I'm liking the way the color is working up. Mm-hmm. So one of the nice things about the asymmetrical shape is that even if your colors do pool, flash, or stack, because you're constantly increasing your number of stitches, it'll break up soon thereafter. So, all right, that's that. So I'm excited to show you that next time we record, which will be in a couple of weeks.
Or a couple of days.
No, it'll be in a couple of weeks. And that's living in my Fat Squirrel Fibers Knitting Pipeline 2016 bag, which I'm excited because I'm getting the SSK one for this year.
Me too.
We already talked about that, but we'll show you that when we get back from SSK this year. All right, I do want to show you my boomerangs that I've been working on. Yeah, I started working on them again, even though I haven't been at a show. They're very simple knitting. If you've been a long-time viewer, you know I love the simple garter stitch boomerang. I now have plans to continually have one on the needles out of Leading Men Fiber Arts in our variegated colorways so that I can take pictures of what the colorways look like knit up and post them with listings in the shop, which I've done for a few different colorways that I've had knitted samples done. But I can also work on them while I'm rescanning. So like when I hook it up to the rescanner, I've got anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute for each skein that I can get some stitches on, and it's amazing how much I can get done in a day, like yesterday where I was rescanning pretty much all day from morning till night. So, I'm working on while we're recording. This is my Yarnakuken boomerang. So I showed off, this was our Zombie Apocalypse 2016 Retreat colorway, which I did have upload a skein to the shop, and it's sold already, unfortunately. But there will be more added to the shop eventually. So it's a tonal greens. Sorry about my needle popping up through there. So you can see the boomerang shape, simple garter stitch. Love the depth of color on these greens. So I already have a picture of this, a stock picture of this knit up so that I can use for listings. So I'm going to continue to finish it out, and then I'll either put it in a gift pile, or since the boomerang recipe is kind of my recipe, I may throw these up for sale, either on our website, or I may open the Etsy website again, Dramatic Knits, just for the boomerangs. I don't know. That would require me to get some stuff done, right? Right. So one of these is on a 5 and one's on a 6. I don't really know what's what. I think this one's on a 5. I just grabbed 2 needles. So, and this is out of our Show Stealer base, which is our MCN base. I did work on my Steady Beat boomerang going to Indiana. And this is out of our Spotlight base, which is 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon. Steady Beat looks like that. There we go. And I got a decent amount of progress, seeing as I just started on it when I showed it to you last time. So, not as melded of colors, but still tonal with the pinks, reds, and medium reds in there. So, there's that. And that's in my Kitchen Counter Crafter. I believe this is a triple shot in the Walking Dead fabric. So she's got those snap bracelet materials on the inside. And last but not least, I'm going to show you my Granny Square blanket. This is my fingering sport weight light fingering version. I have a DK to bulky version upstairs that I did not work on. But I watched a couple movies, and I got 2 new colors added onto it. Should probably not drop the hook. I am not changing the colors every round. I'm just magic knotting them in as I finish one color. So it's kind of a wonky blanket of goodness. I did this last color, which was self-striping Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns, in some colorway that was referencing Christmas that I did around Christmas time. It was sport weight. And then this is some Madeline Tosh Merino Light in some other colorway that I did a shawl out of recently. So it's getting there. It's small, but I hadn't worked on it in months, so I was glad to get it back out and work on it. So that is all that I am working on these past 2 weeks. But, you know, I feel like I made a lot of progress, and I feel good about it.
See what happens when we take 1 week off. I am still in the same place. Steve, 4 finished objects and a whole lot more cast on to replace those finished objects. So you can expect the same level from me.
Eyes keep busy. So, sorry, I want to put the point protector back on my project. Let's move on into in rehearsal. What's coming up on the needles? I personally don't really know. When I finish something, I'll figure that out. So.
Actually, so I said last week that I'm going to knit what I want, and I still am. But one of the things that I'm going to be looking for at SSK, and I was really tempted to buy it ahead of time, is I want to do a on the Spice Market. I love the shawl, first of all, because I think it looks huge and comfy, and I want that. And, but it uses yarn that I don't necessarily have in my stash. that I really want to support some of the vendors that are out at SSK this year. So I have been perusing folks' project page and picking colors that I like. So I feel like I need to narrow that down because, well, I don't think I can afford all of them, as sad as that makes me. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So I guess really what I have in review is just narrow down color choices for on the Spice Market, because I think that's going to be kind of my overall big purchase from SSK, because it is quite a bit of it's one pack of mini skeins and then one main color. So that depending on where you buy them from, the mini skeins can range in price because, one, there's a lot of work to it. I'm not shortchanging any of the vendors, for their work, because it does take time, because I've seen Steve and Andy do it, and
Let's be honest. She's seen me do it, because Andy's never made a mini skein.
Anywho.
Anyway.
So I plan on doing that, and who knows, maybe I might just get it all through Lady Vampire Hearts too, because at least I know I can be picky about my color choices, because they love me.
I did lie. I did tell Callie over lunch that I would like to knit a Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. I've seen it done on Instagram. Amber, who's Yarn Hoarder, did on Instagram, did a beautiful one out of Leading Men Fiber Arts, soliloquy base, and I've seen one done recently on a new podcast that I'm going to talk about in a minute. That's kind of encouraged me to do one with speckles, which I've got a new colorway coming up next month that I'm going to show off that I kind of want to use as the main color. But again, finding the time, right? So, like, if I keep on casting on things out of my yarn from the shop that I didn't have plans for, when am I ever going to knit my stash that I have,
That's true.
So,
that's fair.
Let's move into behind the scenes, my spinning. So, I did finish what I was previously spinning. Unfortunately, that's been sent off to its new home, so I have a picture to show you, though. I was commissioned spinning some spun right round rambouillet in the color play number 254 color, which basically means kind of a one-of-a-kind leftover dyes for the day, throw it on some wool, make some pretty stuff. And I got 212 yards of a chain-plied or Navajo-plied worsted weight, and here is what it looked like. So I was really happy with it. I really liked the way the colors turned out. It was a bit of a stiff wool once it was washed and it puffed up, and the chain ply really, grew on itself. Once you ply it and then you wash it and it kind of puffs up. But I think it would make a good outerwear garment, especially like a hat or a mittens or something like that. So hopefully the recipient really likes that. I then moved on to something from my stash, and I've already finished it, and I'm going to chain ply this as well. But I really wanted to start last night, but I was like, no, then I can't show you anything because it'll be attached to the wheel, so I'm going to wait until we record. And hopefully it'll be around to show you next time I record, but I may put it up in the shop, and if it sells, then I'll have to show you another picture. But I spun up some Yarn Geek fibers, BFL and Sparkle, in the Might I Have S'more colorway that I picked up at the Knitting Pipeline Retreat this spring. So it's a lot of browns and creams. And I'm going to Navajo ply this. This is on my Acreworks bobbin, so you can see all the pretty colors there, which makes it a lot of fun. There we go. That was gifted to me by a very special friend, so thank you. I've got two other ones. I've got a white and a gray and a black, so masculine grayscale.
That friend is awesome.
Yep, that friend is very awesome.
It's not me. I just want to clearly state that. I did not say that.
So I'm excited to see how this works up when chain plied. So, and I love the Sparkle with Yarn Geek Fibers, BFL and Sparkle, and there's talk that she may not be getting it in anymore. I'm not a Sparkle person, but it's Firestar, so it's very, very fine Sparkle. All right, let's move into In the Scene Shop. What are we doing in the world of cross-stitch, quilting, 5D diamond paintings? Yes.
Crafting in general,
Yeah.
outside of yarn.
Other crafting. So do you have anything to contribute?
I do. So some of you that have been longtime viewers might know that I do scrapbooking and card making in general. So I've recently gotten back into doing Project Life. Now, Project Life is a company that is owned by Becky Higgins. She's pretty big in the scrapbooking world and has done a lot of things over the years. And one of the things that she has done is the Project Life. So Project Life takes scrapbooking and makes it a lot more simplified. You basically buy an album, you buy a set of page protectors, and you buy a kit. And so the page protectors come in a variety of styles and that kind of thing, but there's places for you to put photos in, places for you to put journaling cards in, and that kind of thing. To get kind of a better idea of it, you can kind of see it right here. So basically, that's kind of what it turns out to be. So I bought a new kit, or it's new to me, and it is in the High Sunshine. So this is for all of my summer stuff that I've got going on, and I'm going to be traveling quite a bit more this summer than I had originally planned. I'm going to be going to Missouri in the Boot Hill this coming weekend to see family and friends. And then when we go to SSK, the beginning part of that, I'm going to be in Little Rock visiting someone that I haven't seen in over 10, almost 15 years. And then I'll be going to SSK, and then I'll have fair and that kind of thing. So just to give you an idea, this is what some of those journaling cards or, like little page accents are. There's 180 in here. So these are just some of the sampling sizes. So anything that I have left over, I make cards with. And anything that I'm just done with, I have a couple of friends that also do Project Life. So we tend to swap back stuff because a lot of the kits, at least the older kits, you basically got 4 sets of completed kits. So really you only need about 1 to finish an album, depending on how many photos you have and that kind of thing. So it's nice if you go in with friends to buy kits because you get half, they get half, or even if you did 3 or 4, then you could split it up, and a kit can range from $29 to $39 or $49. It kind of depends on who designs it, where you buy it, if you got it on sale, if you had a coupon, that kind of thing. So the more friends that you have that do it, the more reasonably priced it is. And a lot of the cards are double-sided, so you can get more bang for your buck out of that too. So I pulled out the pictures from SSK 2014, so I was like, I would like to do that before I do SSK 2016. So I will be doing that, and it's nice for me because I can take 10-15 minutes and get 15 pages done. You can do basically a page in an hour or a minute without journaling, because I always do journaling last. So that's what I've been doing.
I've been cross-stitching here and there, so I'm working on a design by Bent Creek called Begin Row, and I've been working on this a while, but I am excited because I had started in the middle, and it's a long piece that looks like this, and I had started in the middle, and I got all the way down to the beginning, and I'm going back, and I'm picking up here, and I'm working my way this way. So I'm doing mine on 14 count Ada in a sand color. I affectionately call it burlap. And I'm doing all DMC threads, and so I do have a piece of thread attached, but that's where I'm at. I'm proud of myself.
I think you are doing really well.
So this is my 3rd ever cross-stitch piece, and I'm really happy with it. So I'll be excited to get it, professionally framed and everything when it's done. I'm not excited to hear how much it costs. I really have no idea. I just know professional framing is expensive. But I feel like if I'm going to put months of work into this and eventually have things that are going to take, a year or two, I think it's worth the investment, right? It's just like they say, take the time to finish your garments when you knit a sweater or whatever, block it appropriately. It's kind of how I feel there, so.
And you said you're more than likely not going to have glass over it. It's just...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I've been going back and forth because my house gets extremely huge fiber bunnies and dust bunnies because I've got yarn moving in this house at all times when somebody is in it. So, while yarn is soft, it likes to bloom and shed and go everywhere when it's moving. So, it gets everywhere, and so I'm just afraid of getting a lot of stuff on it. So we'll see. I'll see what the local needle shop owner who does the framing, what she would suggest. So that's that. I'll show you more progress next time we record. And then I'm also working on my 5D diamond painting, which I talked about before, which is basically a bunch of very small, tiny plastic pieces that are cut in a diamond shape, so they kind of look iridescent, even though they're still plastic. And you take one each individually, and you put it on a sticky surface that is gridded, almost like a cross-stitch chart. So, like I said, you can get these through Amazon. I've linked in the show notes to an Amazon listing for this particular pattern because you won't be able to really tell what the picture looks like, and I've thrown out the box that has the picture. But
oh wow, you've done a lot.
I've made some significant progress. So I sit down and I do a little, 20 bead row at a time. So there's that. You can kind of see here. This is a tree trunk. It's got like a reflection in a lake. But then if I hold it closed, do you see it shimmering there?
Ooh, shimmer.
So, yeah. It's really cool seeing it far away now.
Yeah, because I was like,
up front,
it looks
it's
good.
like, oh, it looks cool.
But
then,
no, yeah.
when you do look at it from afar, it's really neat. So, it's something simple, and it's not great for my posture, because I sit in one of the dining room chairs, which are hard, and I'm bent over it, so it's not totally relaxing in that way, but it kind of takes your mind off of things, It's kind of my form of meditation, I guess. So that's all that's in the scene shop this week. So let's move into In the Spotlight. What are we watching and reading? I'm still reading Memory Man, or listening to Memory Man by David Baldacci. I'm enjoying it. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through it. It's my first book by him. My mom loves him, so she had recently just given me the actual physical copy of the book. She had finished this book, and she said, for your classroom library, here you go. And so I decided to use an Audible credit to listen to it. I'm enjoying it, but I'll tell you, give you my official review on it when I'm done. I have watched 3 movies since we last saw each other. My leading man and I watched The Martian, which we had listened to the audiobook together. I forgot where we're going. Oh, when we went up to Michigan for the Fall Fiber Expo last October. We started it, we got through most of it together, and then we finished it separately. We enjoyed the movie. Oddly enough, I thought what's his name? Matt Damon looked a lot like Mark Wahlberg throughout the movie, to be honest with you.
I haven't watched the movie, but that's what I thought when I saw the previews.
Yeah, he looked a lot like Mark Wahlberg, and the main character in The Martian is supposed to be very comedic. Like, that's how he deals with stress. And I was like, actually, I think Mark Wahlberg does a lot more comedies than Matt Damon. So I was just like, that was interesting. I could have seen Mark Wahlberg do it, but Matt Damon did a good job, don't get me wrong. So they cut a lot of things out of the movie that, they couldn't put the whole book in there. But I was just like, there's some major conflicts that they don't even address in the movie. But,
and especially because it was a widely read book.
Right.
I would have thought that the movie industry would have paid a little bit more attention to that. But
I'm sure they had to cut things out
of course.
To meet time. So, I did watch Pitch Perfect 2, which has been on my DVR forever, along with the next movie that we're going to talk about. I enjoyed it. I agree with Callie had told me before. She didn't think it was as good as the first one. I hear they're doing in the works for a third one. We'll see where that goes. Not really sure where it could go. I don't know. I thought the music was hit or miss. I don't know. I think there was something to be said about the first one because it was definitely more low budget. There wasn't as much hype. So, and then the last one we watched last night, and I'm going to give it 2 thumbs down, or 2 stars on a star rating of 5. We watched Sex Tape with, not a sex tape, it's called Sex Tape, with Cameron Diaz and, what's his name? Jason
Bates?
No. He was in the Muppet movie.
Oh, Jason Segel?
Yes. Who looks sickly because he's really skinny in it. And I'm like, you're just not used to, you know what I mean? Especially his face being so gaunt and everything. There were some funny points, and then it just got odd, and then it just was like, oh, it's not over yet. So, yeah. That's it for me.
So I am currently reading Swans of Fifth Avenue. I don't remember who the author is by, but it's basically about New York socialites during the 60s, and Truman Capote is mixed into it. It's good so far. I haven't really dived too deep into it, so I like it thus far. No complaints. As far as movies, I did watch Tomorrowland, which was a Disney film. By a lot of accounts, it was a flop at the box office. I personally really liked the movie. In some parts, I thought it was a little bit long, but I really kind of liked the futuristic aspect of it, and it has George Clooney in it and has a bunch of other big names. But I liked it. And I don't know, like, I can't put my finger on why I like it. So I've watched that, but I've been mostly listening to 2 new CDs. I'm a huge fan of K. Michelle. I have stated this on the podcast a number of times in previous episodes. Her new CD is called More Issues Than Vogue. I really like it. There's not really a song that I don't like. I have my favorites over others. I think this album vocally is a stronger representation than her past albums. I also think that she has really expanded her horizons on things that she can do and challenging herself. So I like it. That's my recommendation. Also know that I have a bias because I have all of her CDs thus far. So the second CD that I have bought is Beyonce's Lemonade. So also wanted to mention with K. Michelle, there is adult content on there, so it's definitely one that if you were concerned as a parent, you might want to listen through it first. It's probably not geared towards kids, but I believe parents have that say over their kids' music, and if they feel it's fine, then that's their choice. Lemonade, of course, is also an adult content themed. There is a lot of swearing on this album. I was telling Steve in the car, or in the truck on the way to the knitting shop, that I really, really like this album among her other albums because I think it stretches her vocally and has put her in some pretty raw situations where you can tell the emotions coming throughout in the song. I think some tracks it works for her, and some tracks it doesn't necessarily all the way. Someone asked me what I thought, like, do you think that Jay-Z really cheated on Beyonce, and what's your stance on this? And I say, if Jay-Z and Beyonce have been good and have always been good, this was an excellent ploy for money, because she is selling that album like hotcakes, and Jay-Z's rebuttal album that he's going to release later this year or in the next couple months, I can't remember, is going to be also a huge hit because people want to know what he has to say about it. So if it has been all false and it's done just to make money, I don't care. I'm still going to buy Beyonce's album. But if it really is one of those things like he did cheat on her and that kind of thing, then I kind of have some issues with that, because I think in a lot of realms, Beyonce has been a huge feminist icon to many people and has given strength to a lot of girls that may not have left situations that have been bad situations. So I have mixed feelings on that because I would think that if it really is true, for a lot of the things that she stands for, that she would have left him. And just looking at the good times doesn't necessarily equate into it's okay to stay with him. So that's their tale. It makes for good albums. Maybe not for the best role models. So what I see happening is I do see the album being nominated for a number of Grammys, and a lot of the videos being nominated for MTV Video Music Awards. So that's my predictions. I do think that it will probably win either Single of the Year for Formation, or it will win Album of the Year. So I'm calling it early, pending everybody else that I listen to throughout the year. So those are my thoughts.
Cool. I do want to mention 2 new podcasts, one knitting podcast, one cross-stitch floss tube that I've started watching, but I really enjoy both. The floss tube one, if you're not into it, I'll just quickly mention it's called Lindy Stitches, and they seem to be very short. I've only watched a couple of them. She only has a couple. She turns on the camera once a month to kind of catch you up with what she's doing. She's also a cross-stitch designer, and I was telling Callie I had already favorited some of her designs on Etsy, so you can find her on Etsy as Lindy Stitches. She has a lot of like really quirky, funny sayings and things like that. Like there's one that I really like that says staying alive, and it's got a little prescription bottle on it and a disco ball above it. And then there's another one that has a bust of William Shakespeare that says William Shakespeare, my homeboy. And then there's one that has the little fire safety bear, and it says what's his saying?
It's only you.
Only you can prevent bad grammar, which, you know, the little English teacher in me is like, yep, might not hang that up in my classroom, but definitely put it up in my office upstairs. I just think they're cute. So she has a lot of one. If you like Jane Eyre or Jane Austen, Jane Austen. She has like a Jane Austen's My Homegirl. She has just a lot of whimsical, funny things up there. So definitely you can check that out. And then thanks to Callie mentioning it several times on the podcast and their cult following that they do have, which I'm like, go them, right? I've started shotgunning the Grocery Girls. If you have not started watching them, they are 2 sisters whose family is in the grocery business, but they are, and they're also Canadian, but they have about 17, 18 episodes out now, and they are just a hoot and a half. And I've been binge watching them for about the past week. So I'm about 13 episodes in, so I have about 5 more to watch. And they've been getting longer. They're about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So maybe several sittings, even though ours might be an hour and a half this week. But, you know, every 2 weeks, right? So that's still shorter. That's only 45 minutes per week, and that's shorter than what we used to do. So I highly recommend the Grocery Girls. They have so many followers on their subscribers on their YouTube, yeah. I was going to say YouTunes. YouTube and their Ravelry groups. So if you're not watching, which I'm sure most of you are, but...
because you listened to me in the first place.
She kept telling me about, I watch these Grocery Girls, and they have this thing called Sock Talk, and now I know what it's all about. So I enjoy that. All right, let's talk stash enhancement. So I'm going to go quickly because I don't think I have as much as you. So Callie hasn't seen this, but and luckily my leading man is taking a nap because he has no idea this came in the house. I've hid it from him. I was watching Sadie's podcast, Yarnivore. And she also dyes yarn called Knitter's Nightmare. I had the pleasure of vending next to her at SSK 2014. She took about a year off due to moving and health issues and things, and she came back and she was mostly doing variegated. She was known for self-striping. She said, I don't know if I'm going to get back to self-striping. Well, she's back. And she showed one of these colorways knit up, and I was like, you know what, that is not very masculine, but it's not overly feminine, and I kind of really like the way it's working it up. So this is her Boogeyman sock, which is 75-25 superwash merino nylon, 462 yards. So it's the same base as our Showstopper base. And this is the colorway called A Yarn of Great Social and Political Import. And it's a 6-stripe colorway. So it's got that magenta, hot orange, brown, light blue, a purple, and then that acid green. This is supposedly taken off of a cover of a 60s album from somebody. I don't think it's a Janis Joplin. It might have been. I don't know.
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. So, and I think this is one of the lyrics from the song. But I did like the colorway, so kind of had to have it. So I was like, you know what? Hashtag treat yourself. Grocery Girls reference right there. I treated myself. Then we needed to stop at a craft store today because I needed buttons for the baby cardigan, which I'm going to show you here. And yeah, I'll show you now. I picked these up at my local yarn store. I couldn't decide what I wanted to use for that, for our newbie vest. So I picked up some vintage buttons or reclaimed buttons from my local yarn store. I believe she just takes these off of old pieces of clothing. So there's that, and then some, nice, just shiny, clear, white ones. These ones. I picked up simple. I just wanted simple. And some mottled gray ones. So, sorry. Our cabinet is making noise. It's haunted. So, there's that. And then we went to the craft store and I wanted some washi tape. Because again, Grocery Girls, hello. They showed a line. They were like, here's how I store my washi tape. And I wanted the container and everything. They said they got it at Michael's. We went to Michael's. Michael's did not have exactly that, which is what I was looking for. So I just got, and boy, washi tape and dispensers are expensive for some tape. But I wanted to have some fancy tape for when we roll up our yarn in our craft paper. I like to tape them shut so the craft paper does not fall off during shipping. So I picked up just some generic shiny metallic. It's got a dispenser attached to it. And I figure once I run out of these, I can buy some of the fancier washi tape and not get the whole line of it, which is outrageously expensive for tape. But I can buy one or two and just replace them, and I still have the dispenser on here. So that's all that I've gotten recently in the last 2 weeks.
So you've already seen my Project Life kit. I did want to distinguish that a core kit is like 4 times the size of that I got. That's kind of like a supplemental kit, just in case if you are looking to get started. So thing number 1, Steve very generously gifted to me a sock blank, and it's in the colorway No Dice, and I really like it. I have not worked with a sock blank before, so I am looking forward to trying this out.
I figured with all of her sock knitting that's been going on, she could either try it, or I told her she could just do a boomerang out of it, and I think it would go very nicely with her winter coat.
Yes. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I got at the store, our local knitting store, is I did get the sock ruler. So thanks, Grocery Girls, because Steve had one, and I was like, oh, I don't think I'll ever use that because I'm not going to knit socks, and then I lied to myself. So
yeah, we got them in the SSK goodie bag from last year, and I was like, I don't need this. I know my formula. And now I'm like, well.
The second thing that I got is Tosh sock, and it's in the Earl Grey colorway. And I believe this is an older, well, I know it is an older color, but I think because they switched their tags.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this. I've liked this a lot. I saw it on a bunch of podcasts when we first started podcasting, and I was like, oh, I'd totally love to get that color, like, sometime, but, like, no one around us carries it, and I was like, I'm not going to buy it online, and now I have no problem buying yarn online, so...
But now it's at our fingertips, readily
Yes.
available at our local yarn store.
Yes, so that has been handy. And I got a little tape measure, and that's all.
Cool. So let's move into a round of applause. First of all, I would like to thank a very generous viewer, Tara. She has donated to the podcast, so thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And she even set up a continual donation every month. So every little bit helps, and we like to give out prizes and do knit-alongs and put the video up for you guys and keep it up on iTunes, which is not free. So we don't mind, investing in the podcast, but if you feel so inclined, on our website, which is dramaticknits.com, off to the right over here, you'll see a little yellow donate button if you're interested, or, there is a way, obviously, to set up a continual, even if you wanted to do just 50 cents or $1 a month. Hey, that helps,
Yes.
right? So, not needed by or required by any means. We're not a podcast who's going to do prizes for donations. We're not going to be looking into anything like Patreon. That's just not us. But, if you feel like you want to get back, awesome. If not, we're still going to be here. We're not going anywhere. So let's talk about our featured designer knit-along, which is going to be coming to a close here soon, isn't it?
It will end on Thursday. Do you know why? Because fair forms are due July 1 by 4:30. Otherwise, they don't count. Ask me how I know. But they are due Thursday, June 30th. By when we close the thread. Don't try to be sneaky.
If it's still open, you can still put it in.
Yes.
And Callie's going to close it on Friday.
I am.
So I'm not going to get up in the morning, and if it's open, I'm not going to close it. I'm going to let Callie do it, because Callie's the knit-along queen of this podcast.
It's true. So the knit-along started April 1. You could have started on April 1 or any time thereafter. Any of our featured designers in our featured designer thread, any pattern that they have, it could be free, it could be something that's in their library, it could be from a collection, it could be one that you just purchased, whatever. Size doesn't count. The like size of project, size of yarn, that doesn't count. It could be any base of yarn, really kind of free flow. If you do finish your object by or on June 30th, and you can knit multiple projects too. You can enter it in the finished object thread for a chance to win a wonderful prize. And then if you knit in any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can get 2 entries into the finished object thread. Want to make this clear, this is for the featured designer cow only. So I hope we've got a fantastic group of people that have already finished, and a lot of people are coming close. So thank you for everyone that has already participated, and all the designers for their continuous generosity, offering pattern help, popping into the comments, and lifting people up. It's been really a great community event. So this is something that we're going to keep doing throughout the year and years, because people have been super generous to us, and we just want to pay it forward to our designers that have really helped us, whenever we need help, pattern support, and that kind of thing, and they donate their patterns, because they could be taking all the money for themselves, but they are being very generous, so we definitely want to keep showing appreciation. Megan Sanders is a featured designer, and I'm not for sure what happened when I posted, but if I will be adding that back in. So Megan, I am sorry that for some reason Ravelry didn't link it. So I will be fixing that. So if any of you that have been working on a Megan Sanders pattern and follow within the guidelines, know that your project will count. So Thank you to the viewer that did point that out to me, because I was like, because Megan is fabulous and I knit her pattern and I loved it. So definitely, Megan, you are appreciated, and I'm sorry that I suck at technology.
And since we won't be seeing each other for a couple of weeks, I'm going to put it out there right now. We're actually going to be off for the next 3 weeks. Unfortunately, because just timing-wise, in 2 weeks when we would record again, Andy and I are going to be in Lebanon, Missouri, vending at the Fiber U, which I'll talk about in center stage. But we're going to be out of town the whole weekend. We won't be getting back till late Sunday. So we're going to be recording not till the weekend of the 17th or something like that, so mid-July. So what's starting July 1?
So July 1 is going to be our Redemption Cow.
Redemption Cow.
It's the Redemption Cow. So,
if only we had editing again and we did fun voiceovers and sound effects. Ain't nobody got time for that. Anyway.
So, as to not confuse anybody on all of the stats and the rules, those will be going up tomorrow morning to get you ready for all of that. Basically, I'm going to give you the general concept of it. Some of us in this room may be failures at their own cows, or cow participation in general. And you know what? Life happens. And I don't feel like we should feel sad, or that some people should not casually be like, I knew you weren't going to finish.
I don't judge. I won't finish everything. But I also know if I don't want to do it, I'm just like, not doing it.
So, with that being said, basically the general premises of this cow is going to be that it doesn't have to be our podcast. It could be any other group. It could be any other podcast. But
any other knit along, crochet along, craft along.
You could, and you can prove it with a link to the original post, and I'll give all of that fun stuff in the thread.
Here's my question though: what if it was like a local yarn store and there was no original post?
If you can just tell me what it is, that's really what I'm looking for.
I'd say just state it out. I don't know about Lincoln might be going a little.
If you can link it, that'd be great. If you can't, cool. But basically tell me what the parameters were of it. Like, was it a beginning lace cow that we did last year? Was it the toy knit along? Was it like one of Knit One Heart 2, one of their knit alongs? Or maybe it was your local cow or local yarn shop cow, whatever. Please just tell me what it is. Tell me a little bit about it, like
when it was started, if you remembered, when it was supposed to be finished by.
Yeah. Were there complications with your project and that's why it set you back, because maybe Gage was not your friend? Just whatever. Because we all have those cows and we all have half-finished projects somewhere. So if you are awesome and you always finish a cow, this is probably not going to be a cow that you can participate in. Not that we're trying to be, mean or anything. You're always welcome to chat in the thread and offer encouragement, but I find it hard to believe that there's not at least one cow that people have not finished. So, with that being said,
even if I don't finish it in time, I finish that project.
Yeah.
I'm not a drop it and leave it. I don't have UFOs. That's just me, though. I can't deal with that stress and that weight in the back of my head, so I just finish it. But.
So I guess maybe, and this will be cleared up in the thread, but if you have finishitis, very much like Steve, in a good way, what are some cows that you took yourself out of or said, no, I can't do that? I guess that's something we could open that up to. Like maybe it was an even star challenge and you were like, ain't got time for an even star or my lace skills.
Or how about this? If you don't have one, but you're participating in a different knit-along, because we want to kind of expose the community of knit-alongs, maybe you can post a finished project for a different knit-along that you're participating in at the same time.
Yeah.
in that project. How about that? So say if you're doing a Knit One Heart 2 or a Grocery Girls Knit Along project during the same time, but you could submit that. I think that would work. But I'm sure most of us, except for me, have something languishing on the needles from a different knit along. Now, see my SSK knit along shawl, the Ayano that I showed at the beginning. If I would have held off on that, I could have submitted that.
Yep.
Because I didn't finish it in time.
Yep. So some of you, this is going to be great for you guys that are participating in Stash Dash. That's great. Or any other kind of cow that's going on that is doing something similar. Maybe it's a pattern designer or something like that. Cool. We're going to basically accept it. So.
Sounds good. So definitely check out the group. Go on over if you're not already a member of our group, Dramatic Knits Video Podcast Group. Come on over, join, take a look at the thread. She's going to post tomorrow on Sunday.
Yep.
And if you have any questions, contact Callie, who is Callister, CALSTERS. Excuse me. My bottle of water's acting up on me. All right, let's talk about the June Race to the Finished Object contest. We will be pulling for prizes in mid-July for June, but that's all right. For 2 prizes, we have a Yarny prize, which we didn't. Did we show? No, we're doing the project bag, the ZK project bag from the Silver Shed USA that I showed off. So that's the prize, and then we have a pattern from our featured designer, who is Nicole Druyard. This is her last month as featured designer, so we are in the search for a new featured designer. So if you know of somebody, or you are a designer yourself and you would like to be a featured designer, all it requires on your part is to donate 1 pattern per month, and you can sign up from as little as 1 month all the way up to 6 months, and we'd be interested in talk to you. So send me, Dramatic Knits, a private message, or Callie a private message through Ravelry, and we'll get you set up and scheduled in the next couple months of podcasting.
Yes.
So I think that's it for our regularly scheduled show. We are going to go into center stage, which is all things leading men fiber arts. It's going to take a little bit. I got a lot to show. A lot's been updated. We have some things to talk about in our newbie vest knit along. I have a brand new item in the shop, which I'm super excited to show you. And I'm going to show you next month's colorway of the month, which will be premiering on Friday, July 1st. So, why are you laughing?
I know I'm going to have kids that are not going to turn in their forms, and I'm going to have to be super mean.
Yeah, we got to learn deadlines, right? All right, so if you leave us now, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'm sorry to have to take an even longer break, but that'll mean more knitting and more progress and more finished objects. Hopefully.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some socks done by then.
One would hope. All right, so let me clear this table of some of this stuff. And we'll be good to go. I'm going to roll this cart back.
I'll scoot over.
We'll push Callie out of the frame.
Yep, don't worry about me. I'm still here.
She'll pop in and give you oohs and ahs. So we'll throw that back there. Do you see I've got a gradient set, an imperfection gradient set I get to break down tomorrow? Yeah. Yes, that is a coat rack that we use for mini skeins and gradient sets. Because we're ingenious like that. All right. So, first of all, let's talk about our newbie vest knit along. It started on June 5th, and it goes till July 10th. And you have to use any base of, or you have to use Leading Men Fiber Arts Callback, which is the sport weight called for in the pattern. And you can get 50% off of the pattern. It's still not too late to knit one up. You can knit it up in a day or two if you really focused on it. You can get 50% off the pattern. I believe the coupon code for that is newbie, NEWBIE, on Ravelry, but definitely check out the pattern page on Ravelry, which is linked on our website, dramaticknits.com, or check the knit along thread on our Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. She's got the coupon code listed. It'll get you 50% off the pattern, and you can get 20% off of all sport weight in our shop with the coupon code newbie, all in caps. That'll get you 20% of all the callback in the shop, good through July 10th. All your finished object posts must be posted by July 10th to be eligible, and we are going to pull for one winner through random number generator to get a $20 gift certificate to Leading Men Fiber Arts. So super excited about that. Thank you, Stephanie, who's the designer, for setting up this knit along and running it and moderating it. Ernest is having some yawn noises over here. All right, so let's move on. I'm super excited about this new product that I just couldn't hold out to premiere, and I was just like, I'm going to update it. So I have this idea. I had it. I made it come to fruition of a speckled gradient. So you know how we do our gradients in 5 mini skeins? So I was like, what if I added a new colored speckle and it would increase in the intensity of speckling throughout the mini skeins? I know. So we're calling them Razzle Dazzle gradients because I was thinking like, what's the name for when you get sparkles in the air? And I was thinking Razzle Dazzle, or if you know the musical Chicago and the song Razzle Dazzle Them. So they're just called Razzle Dazzle gradients. They're each going to be their own sets. There'll be 10 in a set. So like I did the original Razzle Dazzle number 1. I know, real ingenious, right? But I couldn't think of anything. So that's going to be its own set, never to really be repeated because I don't write down the recipe. I mean, I have the general idea of how to do it, but the colors I don't write down. So I have already on to set number 2, which I've broken down over the past 2 days. Has not up in the shop yet, but I will be putting it up here in the next couple of days. So this is Razzle Dazzle number 2. And you can see it starts over here with just one color. It's got this deep mahogany. This one introduces a soft tan speckling. This brings in that hot pop of magenta. Then we got a little bit of chartreuse that's introduced in this one. And then again, some forest green pops in the last one. So the problem is I get to this like full speckled skein at the end and I'm like, new colorway. So I have one in the works or in my back pocket for September because August will not have a new colorway of the month due to Stitches Midwest, which we'll be vending at. So this will be updated to the shop. Keep an eye out for Razzle Dazzle sets at shows, which, by the way, will be vending at the Fiber U in Lebanon, Missouri, July 9th and 10th, I think. That's Saturday, Sunday. And then 10 days after that, we'll be at the Super Summer Knit Together in Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, it'll be 2 weeks from vending. And then about 10 days after that will be Stitches Midwest in Schaumburg, Illinois. So, that last mini skein in the Razzle Dazzle set, I'm making it our new July colorway of the month, and I'm calling it Cherry Blossoms. So here's an up close and personal of the speckling. It has been reskeined to break up the speckling so you get more of an idea of what it's like knit up. So again, it's got that deep mahogany. It's a little speckling of soft tan, the pops of magenta, chartreuse, and then the pops of forest green in there. So I'm excited about that. I get to dye all that up on every base we have tomorrow. That'll be my day tomorrow, along with reskeining. All right, let's quickly go through what's been updated to the shop. So I'm just going to pull things out. I've got quite a few sock blanks here that are up in the shop and still there. This one's called Not Playing with a Full Deck. And these are single knit sock blanks, 463 yards of 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, fingering weight. I got some striped ones, which will kind of do like a Noro effect. They won't be crisp, clear self-striping. They'll be longer chunks in your knitted fabric. This one's called Have an Axe to Grind. This one I just updated this morning. It's called On the Fence. This one's called Kitty Corner. Maybe. If you like orange. I think that's it on sock blanks. Don't hold me to that. I may have one hidden down in this big bin of stuff. Here's a soliloquy gradient. Again, the Razzle Dazzle gradients are on this base as well. We have plans to maybe expand out to some other and new bases, but it's not been fulled out yet. So this is all on our soliloquy base, which is 100% superwash BFL. 650 yards in the set, 130 yards per mini skein. This one is in Ain't My First Rodeo, so I don't know if you'll be able to tell through the camera, probably not, but it's actually it looks grayish, but it's got hints of brown and blue melded together, which make the gray, and this one came out almost black, but it's really interesting, an interesting gradient. So check out the shop more for those. We have the Haunted Wood gradient. Again, similar to the last one. Again, my lighting kind of stinks in here. But check out the website. All the way to the bank. Green. Forest green. Let's show some mini skein sets. There's been a lot updated to the shop. This is a Show Stealer mini skein set. Includes Neon Pencil, New Day, Raspberry Parfait, You Never Know, and Thus With a Kiss I Die. This is our Spotlight mini skeins. This is Watchmen, Dames at Sea, You Never Know, Poseidon, and Seaweed. Sorry, the lighting is a little bit wonky in here. Oh, I love this one. It'd be so fun to do on the Spice Market with this. Show Stealer, Nude Scene, Smoky Quartz, Copper Cloud, Envy, and Blue Steel.
I do like that.
Spotlight again. We've got The Grouch, Rosewood, That Somewhere, Vengeance, and Toxic Gas. I have been doing a mini skein or gradient set every day, and it's been stockpiling us, which is great because we need them, right? But I've also been putting up in the shop for you to have at right away. We've got a couple new Rolags. I don't know when I'll get some new ones up, but this one's called Pink Ninja, and this is Superwash BFL and Black Diamond Bamboo, 2.3 ounces of Rolags. Oh, we have a Orange You Jealous gradient. Told you there's things hidden down there. We've got a Showstopper mini skein set. This is a director's interpretation. Love Potion number 9, Poison Apple, Drag Queen, and Steady Beat, which you saw me knitting with earlier in the show. Got some fiber, Merino Bamboo. We got some Metamorphosis. Breaking Ground. I know we got more stuff in here. Got some Dirty Truce. We've got a project bag. Got this in extra large as well. Brown and aqua with a kind of sea bluish green inside. We've got a My Maker gradient. Look at all those gradients, guys. We've got another sock blank in Method to My Madness, which is a little more subdued, kind of grungy. And then we got a whole bunch of yarn. So, let's see how this is going to work, huh? All right. You can always, I'm going to name the base, but you can always check our website, leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. And up at the top, you can see yarn and fibers, and it'll list all the bases if you're interested, or if you don't know what they are. This is How You Doing on Showcase. On Showstopper, we have some Bahama Mama. On Callback, we have Dames at Sea. Again, don't forget you can use the coupon code NEWBIE, N-E-W-B-I-E, all in caps, for 20% off all Callback in the shop through July 10th. On Playbill, which is our single ply DK, we have Punk Rock Highlights. On Showstopper, we have Mother Earth. On Soliloquy, we have All the Way to the Bank. On Show Stealer, we have Midsummer. Show Stealer, we have Darkest Hour. Callback, we have Nude Scene. Showcase, we have Lightning Bug. Showcase as well, we have Boo. Well, get your Halloween knitting in early. All right, we've introduced our Showstopper Intermission. We only have 2 skeins in there, but they'll be more updated as we can get it in the shop. These are our 50-gram skeins of our Showstopper base, so Showstopper Intermission, like halfway through the skein, like an intermission is halfway through a play or musical. This is in Sour Apple. So you get 231 yards of 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon.
That'd be fun with Dames at Sea.
Mm-hmm.
As heels, toes, and cuffs.
Yeah. Or I also brought it in, too, for, like, on the Spice Market or something where you want pops of color, but you don't want to buy full skeins. This is People Eater, which is very pow, pinky purple. Speaking of pow in your face, we've got a skein of Box Office Worsted in the Safety Dance. And don't look at my head. We've got Perfection on Callback. Again, our lighting kind of stinks down here, guys. I'm sorry. Man of Mystery on Callback. And then 2 more real quick. On Callback, we have Dreamweaver. And on Showcase, we have Minty Fresh. So, again, much better pictures, lighting, true color representations on our website, ladymanfiberarts.bigcartel.com. Best place to find us on the interwebs for updates and news and all of that stuff. Instagram is Leading Men Fiber Arts. Facebook group, Leading Men Fiber Arts, and our Ravelry group, Leading Men Fiber Arts. You can also join our Ravelry group for the Dramatic Knits video podcast. And as always, you can subscribe to us via iTunes, YouTube, and you can always find the show at our website, which is dramaticknits.com. So, until next time,
we hope you
knit something dramatic.